Coach, well, maybe some thoughts as you look back on the Hawaii game and what you're looking forward to with the Pac-12 opener against Washington this weekend.
Yeah, I thought after watching the film, I thought we made some positive steps offensively, executed some nice drives. The quarterback played pretty well, got a lift out of JJ when he got in there. Defensively, I thought the first half we played okay. The second half, not so much. We struggled to get off blocks. Had some really silly penalties, didn't tackle well, so we got a lot of work to do. Special teams-wise, still a little disappointed. We're close on certain things, but there's other plays on special teams we got to get a lot better. So got a lot of work to do. Got one of the best teams in the country coming in, maybe the most talented in our league, and it's going to be a big night Saturday night.
With Brandon's running ability and the threat of that, do you notice defenses playing you a little bit differently in some ways because of that?
Not really. I think all the quarterbacks in our system have the ability to run and can run a little bit. I mean, Brandon is a competitive runner. In other words, he tries to score every time he runs, and I think that's a bonus. The thing he did good or did well on Saturday, his decision making was good. His eyes were in the right spot, and there's a couple times he maybe could have created a big play in the passing on the run, but he was decisive in all his actions, and I think that's why he gained some confidence as the game went on.
When he was redshirting, what was the biggest challenge for the staff to get him from there to where he is now?
Oh, just when you get redshirt during the season, you just run the other team's plays. So I think the challenge for that is a guy on his own, and particularly in the spring, and learning our system. And it has to, when you're really good is when you don't have to think about what you want to do. You just instinctively react. And I think that's, as he gets more playing time, as he gets more experience, just like any quarterback would, he'll get more and more comfortable and play faster. And we always talk about playing fast. Well, the quarterback is the key guy in any system. And when he plays fast and plays well, you got a shot.
You're 3-1 at Arizona Stadium against top 10 teams. What's the mentality of going up against a team that's ranked so high? Do you motivate differently? How have you been able to be successful?
Yeah, those games are probably the easiest ones to motivate because, as I told the guys, when you play a top-ranked team, there'll be a lot of build-up during the week. It's on the ESPN ticker all the time. The score is obviously constantly being flashed, and you come to this level to play in those games. You want to be one of those teams first. You want to be a top-ranked team, but when you play them, there should be a little extra juice because of the attention that it'll get and because of, frankly, the challenge that you're facing. If our guys want to prove that they can play at the highest level, they're going to get a chance because there's a whole bunch of dudes play for Washington going to be playing on Sundays.
How different is Brandon's demeanor than Anu's?
That's a little bit different. They're different personalities. I never tell a guy to be anything about who he is. I mean, obviously, a quarterback, you want some leadership, but they have to lead within their own personality. And they're a little bit different personality-wise. They're probably more similar than you think. Brandon, they all probably like the attention a little bit. Brandon really enjoys the attention, which is okay. I don't mind. I mean, that's his personality. But I think he also shows that it's really important to him. And I think that's the biggest key is that you keep progressing and learning. And I saw him take a step from the first start to the second start, and that's a good thing.
What's the learning curve like? Excuse me. What's the learning curve like for a freshman running back like JJ? How much further does he need to go?
He has probably learned as quickly as any true freshman I've ever had. And I've had some really good ones play throughout the years. And from a football standpoint, he's probably as quick a learner as we had. And Coach McGee's done a great job with him. I think Calvin knew from the start that he had somebody special, but he's even remarked that, hey, this guy can do it all. And he's not the biggest guy, but he's got good strength, and he's a very, very competitive person. And, he hit that circle button about 4 or 5 times, and it was amazing to watch. A lot of fun.
Remember what you thought the first time you saw him do that on tape?
Yeah, boy, this guy's explosive, and he keeps putting up numbers. I mean, everybody, even after he was committed to us, everybody says, have you seen him play? And of course we did. And every time somebody would watch him play, say, that guy's one of the best players on the field. And he had a chance to prove it. And, we still have concerns because we like to play 2 or 3, and it's a long season, and our depth is slowly getting thinner at several positions, but especially at running back. But we feel comfortable that JJ's pretty solid for sure.
Who does JJ remind you of?
Probably throughout my career, probably the closest guy would be a guy named Noel Devine, head at West Virginia, and signed him out of Fort Myers, Florida. Noel probably had one of the most unbelievable senior highlight tapes you'd ever see. I was probably on YouTube somewhere, and I don't remember how long it was, 5 or 6 minutes, but he would have 3 or 4 guys in a 2-yard box area, and none of them could even touch him. He was that quick and that explosive, and JJ has a lot of that same qualities. I don't think Noel was probably a little faster, but JJ he's so light on his feet. He's like a butterfly with sore feet.
That size, you have to have some kind of a bravado or some kind of confidence about you. He must have that.
Yeah, everybody's making a big deal out of his size. He's whatever he is, 5'6", 5'7". That's 3 inches. Is that big? He's not tall, but he's not small. He's put together. He's strong. So I've never really worried too much about size. We're not trying to have him go dunk a basketball or anything like that. Just got to run and catch and block. He can do all that.
But does he have that confidence where he feels nothing? There's nothing.
Hell, I hope so. We wouldn't have signed him, if he didn't think he could play at the highest level here. And the nice part about Jay, he's humble. He's not a rah-rah guy. He doesn't worry about the attention. He just loves playing football. One of the things that stood out to us in recruiting was that he played a great high school program, and one of the most productive players in the state, and loves football, just loves it. And I think that's why he probably learned it so quickly, because everything about the game and the preparation is important to him.
Do you see a lot of running backs that can spin like that? Is that something?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think Coach. I don't know. That's period 4. We're working on practice. I don't think Coach McGee's doing a lot of hand on the ground spin moves on a 3rd and 1 run, but he's got natural instincts, and a lot of times it works. But the biggest thing for us is just there's more technique involved in some of the runs that maybe the casual fan would know, as far as pressing the line of scrimmage and when to make a cut, and those are things he's pretty good at now, but he'll keep getting better at.
Will you try to get Tyrell Johnson more ready at running back this
Yeah,
year?
we are. Yeah, he'll play most of his practice time has been spent as slot receiver, and now, not all of it, but most of it will be spent at running back.
Do you guys want to add a few running backs in the next recruiting cycle, just to pad that depth?
We're always going to have more. I always think you need more than less running backs, and because unfortunately it seems like they get hurt a little bit. So we've got some, and we'll get some and have some. We got other guys who can play running back too, but Tyrell's the first one that we kind of move over full time.
We had JJ on the radio after the game, and he said that his spin touch moves with a hand on the ground was all coaching, and he'd been coached.
Yeah, that's yeah.
And he wouldn't take any credit for. Is it unusual, Rich, for a guy that's got that much skill to be that humble and
Yeah, he needs to be, because hell, it's one game, and we're gonna anoint. Let's not anoint. Put too much pressure on a guy and expect him to get 150 yards against every team. But that's his makeup anyway. He's a quiet, tough, competitive guy, and a lot of fun to coach. And he's been, I don't want to say a pleasant surprise, but for a true freshman to come in and learn this much. There's no plays that we call in our offense that we think, he doesn't, really know that play. That's very rare for any true freshman in this day and age. So I think, again, his love for the game is good, and he'll keep getting better. There's a lot of football still ahead for him.
How's his blocking ability?
Good. Yeah, like I said, he's a tough guy. He'll stick his nose in there.
How did Cody Creason do? His first
Played pretty well. I guess the biggest compliment for Cody is that the game didn't seem too big for him in his first start and his first extended action. There's a lot of things he got to clean up, and he didn't play perfect, certainly, and he'll keep playing better. But he competed like he had been there before, which was a good thing, because we're again, with this kind of long season we have, we've got to get more O-line ready to play too, because we're still banged up front.
It appeared that this might have been Freddie's best game. Is that how you guys assessed it?
No, I don't know. It was better than the last one. He didn't play the full game, but he played better than he did in the game before.
You had said before the season that you want to get up to, what, about 8 linemen that you feel good about?
Yeah.
Do you think you're there with Betcher and?
With Betcher and Cody playing, we have a little more confidence there. I don't know if we're at 8, but we're close. 7.5. A half's a big guy.
Browning leads college football in pass efficiency. What have you seen of him that makes him dangerous? What can you do?
Remember recruiting him. Of course, I think he committed early there, enrolled early in spring. Very intelligent. Again, played in a great high school program, extremely well coached coming out, kind of a gym rat type of guy. And you saw that as a true freshman. He was really composed beyond his years as a true freshman last year. And he's even, of course, better this year in his second year as a starter. Makes all the throws, athletic, but extremely intelligent. You don't see him being fooled too often, which is a credit to his staff and to him as far as learning the game.
You've got a guy like John Ross. Do you put your best cornerback on him, or do you just play whatever side he goes to?
Whatever we plan on doing, why the hell would I share with everybody now? We're going to put 12 guys on the field and hope that the officials don't notice.
When you looked back at the film of the defense, which obviously wasn't as good in the second half, what did you see as far as breakdowns or where things went wrong on that side of the ball?
Well, I'll answer the question if you guys don't use it against me when you talk to the players. I mean, sometimes I say something and you guys will ask our players like, well, Coach said you guys were bad at this. That's why I hesitate when there's negativity. I'm just kind of bringing that up. So what was the question again?
What did you see in the second half as far as?
We didn't get off the blocks as well. I think the first half we weren't bad defensively at times. I thought we were okay. The second half, it looked like we struggled a little bit to get off blocks as quick as we needed to. We didn't tackle as well. And then the 3 penalties, which are unexcusable. And I know a couple of them are close, but there's no excuse for that. And it'll cost us in a tighter ball game.
What's most distinct about Huskies' defense?
I don't know if there's anything distinct size-wise. I mean, they got 3 300-plus pounders up front. Probably as big and explosive as any team in the country, not just in our league. Very active. Again, the NFL guys tell us that they probably have 7 guys on defense alone that are Sunday players. So it's a great challenge for our guys, and they're active and they're well coached and play hard. And I just got done watching our film from last year, and we played awful and they killed us. But there's a lot of things that we've got to get better the next couple of days. But our guys will work hard, and I know that they want to put on a better performance than we did a year ago.
Noticeable drop-off when DeAndre Miller's not in the game as far as the speed from the outside?
Well, you're going to have a drop-off no matter who's after DeAndre, just because he's an explosive veteran player that's played a lot of football for us. So when he went out, in our linebacker situation is still a little bit thin. It's it's not, the next guy may not be as good, but we got good enough players. No matter who's in there, if they're out there, they're good enough to win with. So we got to just play better.
So you guys moved Isaiah Hayes to corner. Is that something that you would plan to do regardless of injuries, or was it because you were?
I think I think he'd been practicing both. He'd been playing more safety during camp, but at corner, Crookshank was injured. And we were moving guys around a little bit. We've got to get a few more guys ready. Our third and long defense has been really average, and that's been part of the. When you have somebody in 3rd and 12 or 14 or more, you ought to be like 90% getting them off the field, and we haven't been there.
Evaluating your tight ends in the run game, especially that double set that you use a little bit more this year.
Yeah, we've got bigger guys. They've played pretty well at tight end. Our blocking is a lot better. They've improved. Charlie, Coach Ragel's done a nice job with them, and Josh Kern has been a veteran there. Trevor Wood's a big guy. So we have multiple tight end sets, and they've played pretty well. Obviously, when you put 2 tight ends in there, it's usually run-oriented type of stuff. But they've blocked well. We haven't thrown it to them a lot, but they've caught a few, and everybody, says the tight end's always open, including them. But they've been pretty solid.
Have you ever had a player going in for a touchdown all alone, drop the ball before the goal line?
No, but I'll bring it up again because a couple times we have a rule that whoever carries the ball on offense or defense, if a defense gets a turnover after the play, you're supposed to hand the ball to the officials for two reasons: one, to get the tempo going quicker, and two, to assure that you're never going to put the ball on the ground like that. But there were a couple times in this season already where we've had a guy score and he's already been halfway through the end zone and just dropped the ball on the ground. We hand the ball to the official every time. We're supposed to. And so that's going to be a point of emphasis. But it seemed like it's been happening more and more often, which is really frustrating, and I'm sure that it's embarrassing for the player, but it should never happen for us.
When you guys have the quote-unquote free play, when they're offside,
Mm-hmm.
it seems like your offensive linemen don't move. Is that intentional?
That's their favorite play. Yeah, they just sit there and stay frozen. They love that play. They want to call it like 10 times a game. They catch a little break. The fat boys, they hold hands and tell stories and talk about dinner and why everybody else is playing around. They're just like, man, yeah, dinner was great at La Paloma. They enjoyed the pregame meal.
Are you content with the defensive lineman production so far through the first 3 games?
Up until the last game, the first 2 games, they were pretty active. I didn't think the last game we were played as well, and they had something to do with it. They were pretty good up front. But we didn't. This doesn't seem like we got off blocks at the same kind of urgency. But they're playing hard, and we're playing a lot of guys, and they've been pretty active for the most part. We're undersized, which is a concern, but like I said, we're not going to get bigger overnight. But we're going to have to play at another level this weekend.
You were doing some new stuff on extra points towards the beginning of the game. Is that something that you're trying to work?
Yeah, we just wanted to give you all something to talk about. We didn't execute it. That was a shame because Jake hadn't run the ball since he was a freshman at Ironwood way back when. So we were throwing him a bone, and he didn't score. So I don't know if I'll let Jake run it again. He'll probably have to. But no, we didn't execute it well. But there's some things we do out of it, and it doesn't take us a lot of time to install it. Hopefully, it makes them take some time to prepare for it.
Rich, how much can you share about the process you went through in evaluating the Orlando Bradford situation and the quick decision you made there?
What do you want me to share?
The process you went through in evaluating.
There ain't no process. We have a rule. You put your hands on a woman, you're done. That's it. There ain't no sit down and talk. And if you did it, if you put your hands on a woman, any way, shape, or form, you're done. Next.
The difficulty in getting depth for the program, you've talked about depth a lot in the last couple of weeks, and maybe, I know the recruiting class you have coming in will add to that pretty good depth, but maybe the difficulty, if it is a difficulty,
What's that, Steve?
the depth.
Yeah, we're trying to force depth a little bit. You notice we played a lot of guys defensively, especially, and rolling a lot of wide receivers in there. Unfortunately, when you get injuries, it affects your depth because now you can't alternate guys as much as you want. And we learned that last year. Unfortunately, the injury situation kind of got to us pretty good. We got to, inevitably, when you got 85 guys on scholarship and some really good walk-ons like we have, you hope that you can play 50 or 60 guys and keep guys healthy and keep guys fresh. And we're still not having that, but we don't want to play a guy just to play a guy. We've got to play a guy that's good enough to win with. And so most of the time we've developed that depth or played guys that aren't starting on special teams, and that's a way for them to get some experience. We're playing a lot of guys now, but if recruiting keeps going like we think it's going to be going, there'll be more and more guys play actual, not just special teams, but be in the rotation in the next couple of years, which will be a good thing.
So are you playing guys who probably aren't ready, but you need to have them?
We're playing guys that are ready to play a few plays, but not extensive plays. In other words, we'll put him in there and he can get us 8 to 15 solid plays, but not more than that. So there's still a little bit more at certain positions. There's still too much of a gap between a 1 and a 2, and that's our job in recruiting to be able to close that gap.
Has Shun Brown closed the gap between himself and those 3 seniors who are?
Yeah, he's in a regular rotation. Now with the wide receiver, it's a little different deal. We obviously with the 3 seniors, they can do everything and play every position, but you want to be 6 or 7 deep, and we're probably closer to that now than we were a few weeks ago.
You talked about the defensive line being undersized. Have you, or will you consider probably going back into Texas to add more size up front on the defensive line?
Why? Because everything's bigger in Texas? I mean, hell, yeah, I mean, there ain't no big kids anywhere else. I guess, Texas is the only place they got big guys. Everything's bigger in Texas. That's what they say. No, I will recruit them anywhere. We'll recruit anywhere if they're the right fit for Arizona. But as a main area, we're still, we've kind of branched out a little bit. Our main areas obviously are still Arizona, Southern California, and some of the auxiliary areas there. But, you can't, only got 9 assistant coaches, so we can't cover all the areas as thick as we want. But there's a lot of really good football players in Texas. So if you're a 6'5", 320-pound defensive lineman, can run a 4.9 and want to come to Arizona, and you live in the state of Texas, and you got good grades and you're a good dude, call me up. Email me. Find Matt Dudek, Chris Singletary, anybody. We'll take you.
What was Anu's role during the game? Was he kind of helping as a go-between between the coaches?
Go-between? There ain't no go-between. It's like Brandon's standing right there, and I'm standing right next to him, and I'm like, what the heck are you doing, So I don't know. I don't know what, I didn't ask we didn't ask them, I didn't ask him specifically to do anything. Coach Smith may have asked him to, hey, watch this or watch that, and he seemed to be engaged in the game. But honestly, when I'm on a game, I don't really turn around and look I go back and maybe once in a while do a correction or something like that, but I don't really pay much attention to what's going on. So he could be breakdancing for all I'm concerned. Somebody will probably tell me about it if it's on TV, but I don't know.
We saw Tellis Jones dressed and warmed up. Is he going to be ready to go?
Yeah, looked good, didn't he? Dressed and warmed up, new uniforms. Didn't play. I'm hoping he'll be dressed and warmed up and play this weekend. That's the hope. We'll find out on Thursday.
Making it to the College Football Hall of Fame. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, thanks. Put him out there, Jason. He's ready right now. But it's a great start, but put the brakes on. Put the brakes on.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.